Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time, and welcome to Henry County, Indiana, just south of Newcastle. I once lived in this house right over here. This is where I first learned to walk. 1987. Mom just told me as I left her house, she said that we moved here when I was 11 months old, so that would have been 1987 that I learned to walk there, and we lived here almost to 1989. I've got some photos with me that were taken out among the yard. All these barns, especially the house, will be in the background of those photos from that time. I want to start that off by saying that I'll show that in a little bit, but the whole reason I'm in Indiana right now, why I flew up here, is because my uncle is getting married today. Family. It always comes first to me. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time. I always love saying that at the beginning because it's like, welcome my friends. I love you. Thank you for being here and thank you for coming back, and also it's your first time. Wow. Welcome to the channel. I am Tampa J. I was once known as Indiana J. Actually, no one actually called me Indiana J when I lived here. But I did live in Indiana for the first 17 years of my youth. My family up and moved to the Tampa Bay area in 2004. But right here is where 99% of my family lives. And that's the whole reason I'm up here this weekend, as I always am, coming up here for family. Sadly, sometimes for funerals. Sadly, sometimes people go to the hospital. But mostly, thankfully, lately, for events like weddings. I did a lot of weddings here in Indiana the past 5 or 6 years. My first cousin's getting married, and today my uncle is getting married. So of course I'm up here, and we're gonna go to the wedding later. No, I'm not taking you to the wedding. I mean, I'm going. I wish I could, but yeah, so I'm here for a wedding. Family always comes first to me. We knew this was gonna happen back in March and April. My uncle invited me out to come to the wedding, so I'm here. I'm staying with my mom, as I always do. Visited with my grandpa last night for several hours. My aunt and uncle from South Carolina are in town, all relatives. We hung out last night, got some Pizza King pizza, met up with my cousin Brandon and his 2 sons, Ryan and Will. Off the bat, not even here for 3 or 4 hours, I've already visited with a lot of family, and today I should see a majority of my mom's side. Family is precious to me. It means the most as a Hoosier growing up in central Indiana, east central Indiana, Hancock, Henry County here. Family is sometimes all we got. So there's more than corn in Indiana. Well, there's no corn behind me. That's like soybeans, but family, you know. I always, when I fall asleep at night, a lot of times, actually a majority of the times, even though like I see people in my dreams from Florida and other places, the backdrop for some odd reason is always here, Indiana. And I think that's because I was born here, and that's, you know, that's when I became a person. And it's just, you know, I have a lot of energy here, a lot of memories. This is where, you know, my dad's buried. This is where he grew up. This is where my mom grew up. This is where I grew up in, look at that house I'm gonna show you in a second is where I lived. But just so much going on here, and I always come back. And I was here a couple months ago, actually less than 2 months ago. Chris the girl and I, shout out to my beautiful fiance. Thank you, Chris, I love you, I miss you. Thanks for hanging back and taking care of Bella. She's on her own adventure today, by the way. Go check out her channel and her video. She's going to an oddities expo. Okay, back to it. Chris and I were out here a couple months ago, and I had the pleasure and the privilege and the time of my life just showing her where I was born, introducing her to family, and I live for that stuff. And she had a good time. We both had a good time out here, and we have plans to come back. This wedding was something that kind of popped up in the midst of our beginning of our Halloween haunt season, and it was something where I just had to get on a plane and come up and check out, and I'll be back, I'll be back by tomorrow night. And so yeah, so I really appreciate you guys watching and sticking with me, always clicking on these videos. I have a little time this morning before I go hang out with my grandpa again. I've got some books for him I gotta take to him. He likes to read the Western novel books, and I got like a whole crate in my trunk full of Western novels, some written by Zane Grey, Louis L'Amour. He loves to read Westerns, so I'm gonna take him some books, and then I'm gonna go get ready and go to the wedding. But for now, we're gonna check out this house that my family moved to in 1987. I've got some photos. I haven't been on this property since probably 1988. The reason why I can go in here is because the property is currently sitting vacant. It is for sale or for lease, and there's no one there. So I can walk up into the yard. We can pretend we're gonna rent it or lease it or whatever, and show you these photos and relive some memories. And there's some other stuff that all the way around here, I can show you a lot of stuff from my past. But in this general area right here at the corner of 400 South and 3, I'm gonna show you some photos, and we're gonna take a trip down memory lane. I hope you enjoy it. I have a little time to make a video this weekend because I always want to spend the most I can with my family. I also have so much lined up coming up. My schedule is full. My calendar, you can ask Chris the girl, her calendar is also full as well. There is so much we are doing together. You and I, Chris and her channel, you guys, all of us together. There is so much content going to be thrown at you guys this season, so look out for it. We got stuff to do this week, so as soon as I get home, I gotta go to work, do my regular job, get off work, and go film something else. So there's a lot of content coming your way. Oh, and also on my way to the airport tomorrow, I have been invited to a haunted house, so I've got to film that too. So much ahead. I've got another haunted house video coming out. Wow. So yeah, thanks guys. I am so humble. I'm so thankful and grateful to be able to have you guys here. So I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy me reliving some memories right now. I'm mostly documenting this for me. I've always wanted to share this and come out here and relive this, and I'm glad you guys can come with me. So thank you so much, and there's much ahead. Shout out to all you guys watching. When I say shout out, that means I love you. I love you. Okay, let's check out my place. We got to go back to 1987. Wow. Looks like a soybean field here. So Indiana is full of corn, although right here we've got mostly soybeans, I believe. An old fence post there. This barn over here was on a former farm. The house used to sit right here. This belonged to a man, I believe his last name was Gore. And Mr. Gore, Farmer Gore, used to come over to the house. He was friends with my dad, and he would walk over. And I remember Mr. Gore, I'm getting goosebumps because Mr. Gore had a hook for a hand, and even though he was a nice person, it scared the crap out of me. He had one of those like hooks that would retract like that, just like a single hook. And I remember he'd come over and I would like curl up in the corner because his hand scared me. I mean, you know, you're a kid, you don't know what's going on there, so that's a real life story. But yeah, I have memories of an old house sitting here and this barn just sitting vacant all by itself. That was Farmer Gore's old barn. 400 South and 25 West. Behind that tree line over there is where my grandpa's house is. That's where my dad grew up, behind that tree line. And if you're watching and you're from Henry County, that's Fair Oaks Road, and beyond Fair Oaks Road was the old Skyview Drive-In, where I first saw a drive-in movie, which is no longer there, but the old drive-in, the Skyview, is over there as well. Just to put things into perspective, walking over to my former home here. Just me, my mom, and my dad. My brother wasn't born until late 1990, so he would have never lived here. This is a very special moment. Just walking along. This house, wow. Yeah, it looks the same as it did. And I have brief memories. I was very young, but I do have memories, especially in the driveway over here next to the barn. My dad, and I have a picture, used to park his truck right in front of that garage, and he had a motorcycle, a Honda motorcycle that he parked in there as well, and I had like a little basketball goal over to the right. This house, if I had to guess, was built in the 40s or the 50s, an old ranch style house. It's got a couple of barns and sheds out back, and it sits right beside this busy highway. This place has not changed. Wow. Wow, so there used to be a basketball goal that sat right over here. And I remember always coming in and out this door. I actually have pictures right here on these steps. I don't know if I have those with me, but I just remember. And this should be the kitchen. This is the kitchen. Hold on. This is where my mom used to cook. Oh, cool. The tile, oh my God, the tile is still the same. I remember that tile. It looks like they're remodeling the house, but that's the kitchen right there. And I remember our TV used to sit over here to the right. It was like a kitchen slash living room area. That is the freaking same tile. And look at this. It's my dad and myself. Oh, I love this picture. You can make out the little basketball goal I was talking about behind me to the left, and the brick to the right, and the steps before the side door here. Check this out. A little then and now action. We were sitting on the lawnmower. The lawnmower was parked right here in front of us. Wow, me and Dad right here on the lawnmower. The basketball goal was right here. You can make out the brick of the house. Check this out, Mom. Isn't this awesome? Also, you can see State Road 3 in the background. I'm wearing like a green hoodie there. That was taken right here. Wow, that's special. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting kind of emotional. Wow, that's amazing. Me and my dad. Right here. So sick. And my dad's 1948 Chevy pickup, which he had since high school. He didn't have it much longer after this. It broke down and it became basically a hassle because it was so old, but that was his 1948 pickup that he had restored when he was in high school and he drove around. Old Betsy was its nickname. And here it is sitting right beside this same garage. My dad's truck in that picture was parked right here. The camera's having a hard time focusing because of the rain and the lighting. Check that out. Circa 1987, 88, and we may have been here into a little bit of 1989 because I remember wearing my Batman shirt and playing with my Batman stuff, which came out in 89, so there's a good chance I was here until 1989. My dad's truck right there. So cool. And I'm not so sure, but I think this was taken inside this garage. This was my dad's bike. His little Honda Rebel, I think. Also his John Mellencamp's Scarecrow album poster on the wall, one of the greatest albums of all time. And that Pepsi machine, which would travel with us for the next several moves. We had that until we moved to Florida, that old Pepsi machine. But this was taken inside of the garage, I believe. Just off the side of the house. And right here in the backyard, I had my first ever golf outing. Look at me with the plastic clubs. And if you look behind me, you can see the shed. Check this out. This shed is right over here. It's still here. There's the shed. So I was out here somewhere. There was also a clothesline, an old post here, 2 posts where my mom would hang the clothes. It was right here. You can see that in the photo. And also you can make out the field, the tree, and the power lines in the background as well. Check this out. Little then and now, Tampa J, Indiana J. The barn's still there. That's the only thing you could really see. It's right over there. That's freaking awesome. Okay, so here I am again with all the clubs. It looks like there was a pool at one time. You see the grass or the sand behind me? It looks like an old pool used to sit there. It could have been ours, I don't remember. But there's the barn. And remember the farmhouse I told you that used to sit here, Farmer Gore's house? You can actually make out that former house right there across 25. So the house would have sat right there in that tree line. You can see it in the photo. This is where I would have been standing with all those golf clubs. There you go. Check it out. Barn. Right there. 1988 is when I think that was taken. 1988, that was a long time ago. That's the year Beetlejuice came out. And another shot on my little plastic toy tractor there. You can see both barns in this shot. And also, you see that pyramid thing way out there on the horizon. All right, think about all that stuff. I'm right here. Way out there, you can barely see it. The trees are kind of the way, but that pyramid thing is right there. That's where they keep all the road salt for the winter. If you're ever driving in the north, or perhaps you're from here, you already know it, but that's where they keep all the road salt to put on the roads for the winter. That pyramid, actually, you can see it better right there. Here you go. Here's the photo. Barn. There's that thing back there. No trees back then. But I'm on that tractor, like right here in this spot, having a good old time. Wow, this is precious. And here's one of my favorites. On my dad's Kawasaki 250 three-wheeler. I remember that thing. He used to take me on rides. And I am right here. Oh, check out my Batman belt. Isn't that cool? I got a Batman belt. I loved Batman when I was a kid. So I'm parked right here on the edge of the driveway. Look at the grass line behind me, the road, the telephone pole. So I'm parked right there. I was right there on top of my dad's three-wheeler. And he pretty much took the picture right here. Wild truck on State Road 3. That's incredible. Look at this. The grass line is the same. Check this out. Also, that telephone pole is still there. It's just behind the trees. Right there. Dude, Dad. This is so cool. This is where we used to live. This is little me eating the cake. I got it on my face. And also you see one of my Tonka trucks. Don't know where this was taken, but it was definitely taken out here. It looks like it may have been off the front porch. So I'm coming around the front. I'm gonna go up here on this porch to shelter from the rain. There's another picture over here I can match up. So this is me and my dad. This photo was taken somewhere in this area on the front side of the house. There's me with a Batman shirt, my dad with his Oakley sunglasses. There's a wagon, and it's attached to the four-wheeler, the lawnmower, but that was in this vicinity right here beyond the porch. You can make out the road behind us, and in that photo, I'll show you in a second, but you can see way out in the distance, you can see a barn. You can't really see it today, but in the photo you can see the barn. That is a livestock sell barn, and my dad, when we lived here, actually used to work there part-time across that tree line. I'll go there after we leave here just to show you what I'm talking about, but you can make out that sell barn in this photo. That sell barn is right there to the right of my thumb. You can kind of make out the structure, and here's the road. That photo was taken about right here, and if those trees weren't there, you could see that barn. I just wanted to show you, and I'll show you where that is in a second when I get over there. But this photo was taken right here, me and my dad. Okay, so I'm gonna go up on the porch here. I may have been playing with my Tonka truck right here, that picture I showed you a moment ago. I'm just gonna go through the window. Oh wow, okay. All right, let's talk about the ghost story. You wanna hear a ghost story? This is a creepy one. So we have to go back to 1987, 88. My mom worked at the Henry County Memorial Hospital when we lived here. The Newcastle Hospital, which I was born in. Fun fact, she was born there too. Also my dad. Back to the story, my dad had a fence company. He built fence, he had his own construction company. So he would leave the house each morning, like very early, like 6, 7 a.m. He'd go out. This was before cell phones. Once you left the house, you didn't see your family or your significant other most of the time, or talk to them until you got back. Yeah, remember those days, guys? If you don't, yeah, that used to happen. This was before cell phones and before beepers. Actually, beepers were a thing, but you had to be very rich to have a beeper back in 1987 and 88. I'm setting that up because the story goes, the ghost that haunts this place. There's a little twist at the end too, so wait for it. The ghost that haunts this place, my mom had the experience. My mom would wake up in the morning, my dad would be already gone, and she would wake up to something actually getting into bed with her. Now, it was never anything crazy, nothing scary, but she would feel someone crawl into bed with her, and it was so real that she would be like, she would say, "Hey, what are you doing home?" She thought it was my dad. she would say, "What are you doing home?" And then when she heard nothing reply and turned around and there was no one there, it would freak her out. And it wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it happened all the time. She would feel like someone would crawl into bed with her. This would happen all the time. And I can remember as a young kid, my mom being freaked out about it and telling my dad, you know, and my dad would take off in the morning and come back, and my mom would always have a ghost story for her. And it wasn't just that, other things would happen in the house, but that was the main thing that happened. There's a ghost in this house, and he likes to crawl in bed with women. Now, here's the twist. My mom was in town. I think she was at Kroger at a grocery store or something, and she ran into an old friend. And that old friend actually, she didn't know it at the time, but also before we lived here, way back when, used to lease this house as well. And they got to talking, and the moment that they realized, my mom's like, "Yeah, I live over there on State Road 3, the brick house." Her friend said, "Oh, you know what? I used to live there too." And then immediately, the lady looks at my mom and she says, "Does he still get in bed with you too?" Goosebumps on my goosebumps standing here telling the story. I've told this story so many times my whole life, but this is the first time I've told it right here at the house that I grew up in, where it happened. My mom was freaked out. The ghost that gets in bed with ladies, right here, Newcastle, Indiana. It's a true story. So I'm pretty sure this corner window right here, this is the bedroom where the ghost would get into bed with my mom. I know it sounds awful, but she always said he was a friendly ghost. He was a friendly one. I don't know what that meant, but yeah, this is the room. One of these rooms was mine. It was either this one or the other one. Oh wow, there's an actual bed in this room. Maybe this is the room. Is there a ghost laying right there? Oh, that's kind of creepy, just telling the story. Oh wow. So that's the same door, the same knob that when we lived here that we used to walk into. It has not changed. That is original. And the same steps. So much energy from my family right here and myself. This door. This is the main door we walked through. And I'm walking back to my rental car over there to show you this old shed. This shed, as old as the house. I think this place was built in the 40s, if I had to guess. That it is original. It has an old doggy door in there. I used to play out in this yard. This was the first place I really ever played before we moved. We moved in 1989, not far from here, down on Spiceland Pike. My dad had bought 4 to 5 acres and was planning on building like a log cabin, but that didn't work out. Temporarily, we lived in a trailer on that property, a trailer for a while, and I have a lot of memories where that trailer used to sit on those 5 acres. And one day, the person who lives and built the house on that property today actually is a family friend, oddly enough. Someday, I wish to go out there, and I especially want to show Chris that property, because that's when I really began to develop, and I was a toddler. I lived there from like 3 to like 5, and that's when I started remembering playing Nintendo and watching Ghostbusters and all that. So that's a special place. And also, each Christmas, my dad sometimes, well, a couple of Christmases, we would go get a Christmas tree and we'd dig up the roots and we'd put it in a big basin in the living room, and afterwards, after Christmas, we would plant it in the backyard. So some of my family's first Christmas trees are on that property which I'm talking about. So someday in the much ahead, when I have time and I come back out here in Indiana, I'm gonna go explore that too. So I look forward to sharing that, a lot like I did here. We'll do the same thing over there. Yeah, I lived in a lot of places, guys. I moved 25 times before I was 30 years old. So I've got a lot of memories spread out between here and Florida. So I sent this picture quickly to my mom, and she said, yes, she confirmed that's the same floor, and she said that is the exact spot that I first walked. I started walking on that floor, so we just witnessed that, and I got to document that. That's very special. And I found more pictures. So here is me with my little proton pack Right there before the barn. That is my Ghostbusters proton pack. This is a treasure. Thanks to Mom for finding this real quick and sending it to me. This was taken right there at the house. It looks like winter time. The grass is dead, but there I am. Wow, this is such a great picture. And there's our first television, our family television. There's the tile. Look at the, oh, I remember that TV, and there's my NES on top, and then there's the family clock. That was my grandmother's. And there's my mom standing in the kitchen. This was right here in the house. The floor is a dead giveaway. Right before the kitchen. Indiana J. You know what? My style has not changed. This was taken right here in front of the house. Man, I wish I still had those sunglasses and that hat. I should have told Mom. I didn't know what I was doing this morning. I should have told Mom sooner. She's just now texting me these pictures. But there's my uncle on my dad's drum set. This was in the living room. That drum set, that's where I first learned to play drums. And legend has it that Ringo Starr may have played on that same set. There's a story about that. It's crazy. I know. You're probably like, what the heck? I don't know if I want to go into that today. That is a long story. We'll just leave it right there. But in the right-hand corner, that tractor I still have, and it's at my house in Florida. I've had that since I was born. A 1948 pedal tractor, and I've shared it before. That's one of my prized possessions right there. There it is in the freaking house. Oh wow. Thanks, Mom, for sending me these real quick. My dad's work trucks parked between the barns, and you could see that pyramid out beyond State Road 3 there. Those were his trucks. I used to ride in those trucks with him. They were stick shifts, Chevys. He liked Chevy, and I would go to work with that all the time. I don't know if what I'm doing there with that plastic yellow pipe wrench, but I'm wearing his steel chainsaw cap. Here I am in my Carhartt overalls. And here's my grandpa Orville, which I'm gonna go visit a little bit later. I'll see him at the wedding today. My mom's dad on the 3-wheeler with myself right here on the corner of the house. I love this. And there's Dad before the barn, and I guess we had a taller basketball goal out here as well. This is the goal that I was just below with the proton pack. Fun story, the first time I went to Magic Kingdom, we weren't there too long. We did ride a lot of attractions. We did do a lot, but it was short-lived because Dad got hot and took his shirt off. And security approached him and they said, "Sir, you can't take your shirt off." And he was like, "Why not? It's hot. It's Florida, man." And he's like, "Yeah, you gotta put your shirt off or you gotta go." My dad looked at my mom. My mom said, "Hey, are you ready to go?" "I'm ready." And so my dad walked out of Magic Kingdom without a shirt. True story. First time at Disney. That was my dad. And look at that. I'm grateful for all 75,009 of you and counting. Give or take. Wow, that's amazing. I can't believe you. Wow, that's a big number. I'm so shocked that anyone subscribed at all. But wow, 75,000 Universal Update. Thank you so much, everyone. Still much ahead. We've only just begun. And now I've come across State Road 3, the house right over there. Here we go, another place that has not changed. The livestock auction, the sell barn, as we called it, not open anymore. Actually, recently, this thing was up and going. Within the last couple years, they stopped doing auctions here, but this is where my dad worked in the livestock auction, the sell barn. And he would take me to work, and I've mentioned this several times. They auctioned off cattle here. They also auctioned off hogs, pigs. This is where little Tampa J or Indiana J at the time developed a fear of the swine. We're talking hundreds of pigs inside this barn here. This is where they kept all the livestock, and they would bring it into the auction arena, which is inside here. I've got memories in here. That's where I would walk down, and I'd be eye level looking through the slats into the souls of swine, and it was a freaky feeling. Now, I'm not really scared of pigs today, but for a while when I was a kid, man, they used to scare me. And pigs are dangerous. Don't don't get me wrong. You don't want to be caught, especially as a toddler. You don't want to be caught in a pig pen with a bunch of pigs. They will run you over. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm going through the window here. You can't really make anything out. Oh, this is the arena to the right. Guys, it smells the same in there. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a trigger. I'm getting terrified. Doesn't it look like Leatherface just left his coat there to the right? That little slicker? Oh my gosh. Can't really see into the arena, but the stalls where they kept the livestock, the windows, some of them are open. So I'm gonna point my camera up in here, see what we can see. Oh my God. It is the same in here. Oh my gosh. So I would be walking down here. There would be hundreds and hundreds of animals, mostly pigs. Oh, I can still smell it. Oh my gosh, this is like a horror movie. This is where I used to come in with my dad. He used to walk me right through here and I'd be terrified. Check it out. This is a huge cattle barn and hog barn. Ooh, the hogs, the swine. Okay, I think that's enough of that. It smells the same in there. Wow, the memories that just came back to me. What an amazing time. Again, don't have very much time this morning. I am off to go visit with my grandpa before I go back to my mom's house to get ready for the wedding. We're gonna have a good old shindig tonight. We're gonna celebrate, and then tomorrow I'm heading back to Florida, and I've got more things to do in Florida with my fiance Chris. We're gonna be doing some things this week and on into the weekend, so make sure you subscribe below and come on back. There's always much ahead, as I say. No matter who you are and what you're going through, just know there's always much ahead for you. I believe it in my heart and my soul. It's not just a saying or a motto, it's a way of life. There's much ahead. It's a positive statement. It means we're gonna make it. Let's hope, you know. But I do believe there's much ahead for you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this time, me going down memory lane, this quick video I made. Thank you for being here, guys. I'll see you next time. Right here at the old cell barn. Look at that. Me and my dad right in there. Wow. Oh, maybe I should show the corn. I'll leave this way so you can see the corn. Corn's about 7 foot tall at some points. Last time we were here, it was before the 4th of July, and it wasn't even knee high. They always say knee high by the 4th of July. If your corn is not knee high by the 4th of July, well, I guess you're in trouble. I don't know what happens, but that's what they say. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Always sticking with me. More videos ahead. I am Tampa J. There is so much ahead. Bye-bye.